Hare Krishna everyone. Yogini Ekadasi ki Jai. Please join us today in the study of SrimadBhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 70, Lord Krishna's daily activities. And here we learn how to attain peace, how to feel that gratitude, how to feel fully charged with the spiritual energy so that we can do rapid advancement in our journey to attain Lord Shri Krishna, to be in the association of devotees following their instructions. So please join us today for Jayarada Madhav, followed by the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha realizing the fortunate time of Yogini Ekadashi. In US, Canada and Western countries, Yogini Ekadashi is today, while in India and Eastern countries, it is occurring tomorrow, because sun rises and sets at different times, and accordingly things change. So yes, even though the timings are different, but the mood of a devotee is same, to constantly chant the holy name, Hare Krishna. So today we'll be covering SrimadBhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 70, Lord Krishna's daily activities. And we are starting the 4th book of SrimadBhagavatam. So in the big book said, this is the 4th book on the 10th Canto. That's what we are starting today. We have already completed 75% of the 10th Canto. So that's a good progress so far. Hare Krishna. Please join us in Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudiryet.
Tato Jayamudirye.
Shravtam Swakatha Krishna.
Shravtam Swakatha Kṛṣṇa.
Punya Shavana Kirtanaha.
Punya Shravana Kirtana.
Hridayantasto Bhadrani.
Hridayantasto Bhadrani.
Vidunoti Suhasatam.
Vidunoti Sahratsatam.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya.
Bhagavate Uttam Shloke.
Bhagavatir Uttam Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
Hare Krishna. So even though we are starting here, but this page keeps opening up, so I thought I should share with you. Such a beautiful painting of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar and all the gopis, playing in Yamuna river in Rasadas times. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful. And in the, at the end, plate 11, it is identified in the city of Dwarka. Lord Krishna would enjoy with each of his 16,108 queens in her own palace. On the grounds of these palaces were clear ponds fragrant with the pollen of many lotuses. So the Lord is enjoying in Dwarka. So imagine, as we normally see him enjoying in the gopis with the rasa dance as we covered, now this is happening in Dwarka, in the various ponds, which are every palace had a pond. Hare Krishna. So please join us in the recitation of SrimadBhagavatam 10th Canto, Chapter 70, Lord Krishna's daily activities, verse 1. So quickly we'll cover this, and then we will directly dive into the lessons where we will learn the secrets as how we can attain peace and attain the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukuvacha.
Ato Shasya Upavrittayam.
Ato Shashi Uparvrittayam.
Kukutan Kujato Shapan.
Kukutan Kujato Ashpan.
Grahita Kantaya Pratibhir.
Grahita Kantaya Pratibhir.
Madhavyo Virahāturaha.
Madhavayo Virahatura.
Please.
Shri Shukuvacha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Ato Shashi Upavrittayam.
Ato Shasya Upavrittayam.
Kukutan Kujato Ashpan.
Kukutan Kujato Ashapan.
Grahit Kantaya Patibhir.
Grahita kantaya pratibhir
Madhavyo virahatura.
Madhavyo virahaturaha. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukvacha.
Shri Shukdev Goswami said,
Shri Shukdev Goswami said,
Atha,
Atha,
then, Ushasi,
Ushasi,
the dawn, Upavrittayam, as it was approaching,
it was approaching,
Kukutan, the
the
roosters, Kujataha,
Kujata,
who were crowing, Ashapan, cursed, Grahit, being held, Kantayaha, whose necks, Pratibhi, by their husbands. Lord Krishna in his multiple manifestations. Madhavyaha, the wives of Lord Krishna. Viraha, over separation. Aturaha, agitated. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, as dawn approached, the wives of Lord Madhav, each embraced around the neck by her husband, cursed the crowing roosters. The ladies were disturbed that now they would be separated from him. Purport. This description of Lord Krishna's daily activities start with the crowing of the rooster. Lord Krishna's wives knew that the Lord would dutifully get up and perform his prescribed morning rituals, and thus they were agitated at their coming separation from him and cursed the roosters. Hare Krishna. So, Shukdev Goswami is speaking SrimadBhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And now, Parikshit Maharaj, who has been fasting on the bank of Ganges, which is also Yamuna in Hastinapur, which is today's Delhi in India, because he was cursed to die in 7 days. So Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the world. Yet, by a simple mistake, he has been cursed to die. And this curse, for such a small offense, has been cursed so heavily because it's been cursed by a Brahman boy, Shringi, who's son of Shamik Rishi. And Shringi was a young Brahman boy, and he was the first one who was said to be influenced by the Kali age, the influence of Kali. And so, as this curse will take effect, Parikshit Maharaj, he could have easily avoided it. He could have easily found a solution, but he takes it as mercy of Lord Krishna, so he continues in his journey. So it's not that he is causing himself to go through it, it's an external influence. Yet Parikshit Maharaj takes it as mercy of Lord, and he decides to fast. And many sages from all over the world, not from this world, but also all over the universe, they are coming from other planets, right? Gautam Rishi is there, and Bharadwaj is there, Vashishta Muni is there, and so many great rishis who are gathered at this. Vishwamitra is there and so forth. And Srila Vyasadeva himself is there. And at that time, Shukdev Goswami, he appears, son of Srila Vyasadeva. And he is identified as the one who is going to answer the various questions King Parikshit has. And in the first canto of SrimadBhagavatam, it is the same. What the SrimadBhagavatam that was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj was recited later on by Sutta Goswami, but it appears. So many events, they appear out of chronological order. So that also is something important. And one of the interesting thing is, here, all these sages are fasting for 7 days. Not just Parikshit Maharaj is fasting. And of course, his spiritual master Shukdev Goswami, he also for 7 days, he's not eating anything or drinking anything. Yet, it is not that they are fasting and they are just sitting like that. Rather, they're taking as an opportunity to make advancement. Because Parikshit Maharaj's first question was, what is the duty of a man? And then the second question was, what is the duty of a man who is about to die? So this is how we should look at it, that with every passing moment, we are coming closer to death. But what is our duty? We should perform our duty, right? If you know that the purpose of a car is to go from point A to B, but you just start the car, but don't, you have just turned the engine on, but don't drive it, don't push that pedal and in the right direction. That's also important. That you are not just pushing the pedal, but you're also keeping the direction. And as time is passing, the gas is running. Yet if you don't push the pedal, it's going to run out. And it will stay at point A without reaching the point B. So the purpose of life, what's the purpose of life? To attain Kṛṣṇa, to attain love of Godhead. So that is prayojana, the goal of life. And abhideya is, what is our relationship? Who am I? What is my purpose? Is to attain Kṛṣṇa. But who am I? And how can I attain it? Those are the two questions. So sambandha is important. We are living entities. So very many times people say that I'm a spiritual being having material experience. Well, why are we having material experience? We can have spiritual experience. And we can have a spiritual experience when we read SrimadBhagavatam, when we worship Shri Radha Krishna, when we engage in devotional service by chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here, the wives, they are, as they are awakened. So again, as Shukdev Goswami is narrating, everyone is fasting. So how many are fasting today? I hope everyone is fasting and getting this mercy. Because let's look at the name of Ekadashi. Yogini Ekadashi. Yes, we hear the story of Ekadashi where Hema Mali, who's the gardener of Kuvera, he was to bring these lotuses for Kuvera's worship, and it became afternoon because he got distracted. Yes, many times when we are supposed to be serving, we get distracted. So just like that, Hema gets distracted and thus cursed by Kuvera. And so he falls down from his position. Yet, by mercy of Lord, he is able to get the association of Markandeya Rishi, who blesses him by identifying that he should perform fasting on Yogini Ekadashi. And what is the meaning of Yog? Is connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Yogini Ekadashi enables us to directly connect with Lord so that we can make rapid advancement in our spiritual progress. So we are not just pushing the pedal. Today we are getting an acceleration. By favorable winds, by favorable environment, everything is favorable for our spiritual journey. Well, materially, things may look awkward, but spiritually, they are in complete bliss. They are in complete transcendental bliss. So let's look at this journey today. When we perform fasting, even a half-day fast gets great benediction. If you are able to perform full-day fast from grains, that's what is said. And many devotees, they completely refrain from eating food. And sometimes we devotees, we joke that there are three kinds of people. So people who are fasting, people who are feasting, and then people who are fasting and feasting. So people who are fasting is as per the injunctions, Vedic injunctions given in the Shastras. They are properly fasting on this day. Then people who are feasting, they are feasting on non-grain prasadam. So again, prasadam that does not contain any grain. So that is what they are feasting on. And who are these third kind of people, you would wonder, who are fasting and feasting together? How is that possible? So these are the people who are fasting actually, but they are feasting with their eyes. Oh, he is eating this and she is eating that. Looking at others, trying to identify, pointing fingers. So we want to be in the first category as much as possible and engage in performing devotional service. The 9 process of devotional service we have discussed so many times, which starts with the most powerful one, Shravanam, hearing about Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, chanting of the holy name, reading SrimadBhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, hearing from elevated devotees, so that we can attain peace by turning towards Krishna and develop this attitude of servitude, this attitude in which we can lovingly serve Shri Radha Krishna and the exalted Vaishnavas, the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this starts simply with a simple prayer by raising our hands and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, this chapter, we already did other Mangalachan prayers earlier. So, this chapter is starting with the coming of dawn, Brahma Muhurat. And somebody could wonder, Lord Krishna's daily activities, when they hear that he is performing an activity just like a human being, right, as a Kshatriya. So they would wonder, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and why is he performing these activities as such? Then Lord Krishna has revealed in Bhagavad Gita that actually he has no service to perform. Yet he performs service so that others may follow. Yad yad acharati sheshthas tat tadevetaro jana. So that is the important aspect. Sayat paramanam shrunute lokastadu anuvartate. So as one shows by his example, a great leader shows by his example, the general populace follows that path. Yet when we follow the path, it is not imitation, but taking shelter. It is anusharan. Following in the footsteps means anusharan, not imitating, not just trying to act like that. And that's the difference between an activity that is performed with the mindset of just ritual without understanding meaning, or the same activity that could have been performed by understanding the essence, so that we can understand the mood, get in that right mindset to be able to perform it properly to satisfy Lord Krishna. Because not just that what you offer is important, the packaging is also important. And Lord Krishna is bhav grahi janardana. He is really looking at the essence, our bhav, the feeling with which we are serving him. So that is more attractive than the various objects that we are offering to Lord. So in this chapter, the rooster has croaked, and as the rooster is croaking, what is the state of all the queens? That they do not like this. They are disturbed because Lord Krishna was holding them. He was, their necks were encircled by Lord Krishna's arms. And they knew that with this croaking of this rooster, Lord Krishna is going to be separated from them. Yet Lord Krishna, to exemplify for us, he gets up irrespective of how they are feeling at Brahma Muhurat. So rooster time is where Brahma Muhurat time starts. Srila Prabhupada says in Krishna book that there is no need for alarm clock, because once the roosters they start crowing, then automatically we know that it is Brahma Muhurat time, and we should get up immediately. And the first thing we should do is, just Lord Krishna shows by his example, should touch the water, wash our face, wash our hands and so forth, and then start meditation. Now Lord Krishna is meditating on himself because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As learned, so that's the first lesson, that Lord Krishna is meditating on himself. That could be sometimes bewildering and could be the first place we could be making mistake. So Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no one else to meditate on, so he is meditating on himself. Vadanti tadvidas tattvam yajnanam avyayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. The learned transcendentalists know that the absolute truth appears in three forms. What are these forms? Bhagwan, Lord Shri Krishna himself, then Paramatma, his plenary portions, he expands, Lord Krishna expands, Bhagavan expands into these Swamshas as super souls, Shirodakshai Vishnu. And he enters in the heart of every living entity, even in every atom and the spaces between atoms. He is there. So as super soul, he pervades everything. He is omnipresent as super soul. And then the third is Brahman effulgence, which is the effulgence coming from the body of Lord Krishna. So this Brahman effulgence is further reduced. Sat Chit Anand. Sat is eternal, Chit is full in knowledge, and then Anand is transcendental bliss. So Brahman has in its potency Sat feature, eternal. It is all pervading. Paramatma has two features, Sat and Chit, full in knowledge and eternal, because it is present everywhere in super soul form, in the heart of living entities and also in the atom. And then Satchitananda Vigraha, that is the complete form of Lord Shri Krishna himself. So Lord Shri Krishna is meditating on himself. Srila Prabhupada says this meditation is not different for us than meditating, calling out the name of Shri Radha Krishna in the form of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we chant on our rounds, right, on our beats. We chant minimum 16 rounds on our beats every day. And on a special day like Ekadasi, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Gaur Purnima, and so many other festive occasions, we have instructed to chant minimum of 25 rounds. Because it is even more purifying, multitude, thousands and thousands times more potent when we chant attentively, immerse in the love of God, and constantly thinking of the beautiful form of Lord, his activities, name, form, pastimes. So thus we are constantly immersed. Itidrik swalila bhirananda kunda. We are constantly immersed in the transcendental bliss when we chant the holy name in that mood. So it is very important to understand the mood, that it's a prayer. Shri Radha Krishna, they are dancing on our tongue when we are chanting the holy name with that mood. However, Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book says that how can somebody make a mistake even in this process when seeing Lord Krishna, reading about him, that he's meditating on himself? Somebody could think that, okay, we have to meditate on oneself, soaham, and that would be a big mistake. Living entity is part of Brahman, yes. Same in quality, different in quantity. That's why Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva philosophy comes from. So Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely that if Lord Krishna is the ocean, we are a drop from the ocean. So qualitatively, we are same in nature. But quantitatively, he is unlimited, we are limited. There are various examples given from Srila Prabhupada's times itself. Once there was this devotee, he makes a nice painting of Lord Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada asked him for this reference, that where is it given in the Shastras? He's like, Lord Krishna's pastimes are unlimited. Then Srila Prabhupada smiled and said, yes, Krishna may be unlimited, but you are limited. So we as living entities are limited. So we have to stay to the Shastras, to the bona fide references, so that when we engage in any activity, any devotional service, we are following it accordingly. So sometimes people think, Aham Brahmasmi, so I am Brahman. So Lord Krishna is meditating on Brahman, so I should meditate. No, Lord Krishna is meditating on Brahman. He is the Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhuman. So he is even beyond. He is the cause of Brahman. And he is the cause of all causes, so he is the Adi Purusha, so he is meditating on himself. We have to meditate on Shri Radha Krishna. With this mood of gratitude, we have to lovingly call out their names. And Srila Prabhupada even says that we should call out the names like a cry of a child calling for its mother. So that's how we should be calling out for Shri Radha Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we should call out with our heart in it. We should put our heart in our thoughts. And so when we call out, Cheto Darpanamarjanam happens, right? So it is where we understand who we are and we attain peace, knowing that Krishna is Bhoktaram Tapsam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Surhidam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Vrichati. Lord Krishna is, the cause of all causes. He is the supreme proprietor of all the material spiritual universes. He is the beneficiary of all sacrifices and he is our very best friend. Thus we can attain peace. And so aham, this mindset that aham brahmasmi so aham, so I should meditate on myself, is a big fault. We should not do it. Rather, we should engage in chanting on our beads, japa, that's how. And japa is done, very softly yet very attentively. And of course, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and so many acharyas, they even said that chant it loudly so that even the walls and the living entities around us get benefit from chanting of the holy name. Yet we should not be imitating, because anukaran is the principle. Actually, anusharan is the principle, anukaran is imitation. So we should not try to imitate, but rather we should take shelter of the instructions. Anusharan, taking sharan, taking shelter. So we should favorably take shelter instead of imitate. This reminds me of a very nice event that happened in my life. When I was a child, in the elementary class, teachers would give us some essays to write on. So once we were given the essay to write on my best friend. So I was writing this not knowing that the student right beside me was just copying it word for word. So now when the teacher graded the paper, she said that, I did not know you have a brother. I said, no, my brother is in different class. She said, no, see, this you write, my best friend's name is Prahlad. He writes, my best friend's name is Prahlad. And then, word for word, everything is identical. And then actually I had also written that he also happens, Prahlad is name of my father. So she's like, so he has to be your brother because he's writing Prahlad is name of my father. And so even when people are imitating, they need some intelligence even for imitation. So it is very important. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example as how sometimes people get bewildered. He gives the story of cat in the basket. So once a lady, she was marrying off her daughter, and during the marriage ceremony, as various mantras were being chanted and fire sacrifice ceremony was going on, there was this cat running around. So in India, cats and dogs, they sometimes are wandering around. They take care of the, scare of the mice. So people don't disturb them, but they don't really treat them as pets. So just to avoid the disturbance from this cat running around disturbing everyone, she puts a basket upside down on top of the cat. So she stays confined. Now when the daughter, she grows old and she has a daughter and her daughter's marriage is going on, she's constantly disturbed. She's like, something is missing. And at that time she remembers, when my marriage was going on, mom had a cat which was covered by a basket, upside down position. Okay. So she asks her relatives to get a cat. So she puts the cat and then she puts the basket upside down on it so that the cat stays under the basket. And she says, now it is perfect. This is exactly how it's supposed to be performed. She did not understand the essence of what her mom was doing, what her mother was doing. So sometimes people, they try to imitate, they just do the act without understanding why we are doing the act. Sometimes people are fasting and all day they are just focusing on, I am fasting today, I am fasting today. It is so difficult that I am fasting today. Instead of that, we should concentrate on Lord Krishna's pastimes. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, he is fasting for 7 days, and this is around 5th or 6th day when the 10th canto is being recited by Shukdev Goswami. And everyone is fasting without even knowing. They were not feeling any pangs of hunger or thirst. Now there is another incident comes in this particular story, in this pastime, in chapter 70 of 10th canto, where people say, if we were there, then the fasting would be so easy. While when the sages were hearing it, they were smiling as how easy it is, even better it is to fast when we are singing and hearing the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. Shri Kṛṣna Sankirtanam, right? Param Vijayate Shri Kṛṣna Sankirtanam. So here, Lord Kṛṣna is meditating on himself, which means we should chant the holy name on japa beads. And then Lord Kṛṣna, after finishing his meditation, he takes bath, he wears nice upper clothes, lower clothes and so forth. And the first activity that he does is that he, worships the sun god. So he is, singing prayers to sun god. So that is where we should realize Lord Vivaswan, who is the presiding deity of sun, and his son Vaivasvata Manu also happens to be in charge of the forefathers. And then Lord Kṛṣna is doing tarpanam for the forefathers. Tarpanam is to satisfy the forefathers, and this process of tarpanam is like many of our forefathers, many of our early family members, they may have taken birth, at another place, in another body. Yet at the same time, when we perform tarpanam, they become very happy. And it is our duty to perform this, giving oblations, making tarpanam, this process, to satisfy, to make our family members happy. But sometimes people are so much focused on their forefathers, they don't pay attention to the happiness of the family members. So this is also very important, that charity begins at home. When Srila Prabhupada, after getting Mahaprasad, at an airport, he asked the devotees to distribute it. They started distributing to the other travelers, and then Srila Prabhupada called them and said, charity begins at home. First distribute it to the devotees. If there is some left, then you can distribute it to others. So similarly, we are trying to satisfy our forefathers, but the current family members who are around us, our parents, our children, our spouse and so forth, so we should be making sure that they are happy. They are getting nice greetings. Lord Kṛṣna was so attentive that even though he had hundreds of thousands of maid servants in each of the palaces and so many men servants running around and serving him, he would smile and ask for their welfare and give them gifts often, so that they feel blessed. This is mercy of Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead that we are getting. So similarly, when we go to the temple, we see the devotees, they are passing on Lord's mercy. So one who has Lord, one who has mercy, only that person can pass on the mercy. So we so many times see pujaris giving out the flowers that has been offered to the deities, so many times the sweets that have been offered to the deities and so forth. So the mercy of the Lord Shri Kṛṣna, Shri Radha Kṛṣna, that flows through their devotees who are the instruments. Because that's what Lord Kṛṣna told Arjuna, Nimitram matram bhavya savya sachin. You are but an instrument in this journey of yours, in the battle of Kurukshetra. So that's what a devotee feels, just like an instrument of Lord Kṛṣna, just to seek pleasure of Lord Kṛṣna and his devotees. And how many devotees are there? Once a journalist asked Srila Prabhupada, how many disciples do you have? So at that time Srila Prabhupada had 600 some disciples. And he said, many, many thousands. Some know it, some don't. So how many devotees are there of Lord Shri Kṛṣna at this current times? Everyone is a devotee of Lord Kṛṣna in reality. Some know it, some don't. So that's how we should be looking at. That every living entity is, this constitutional position is Jivera Suruphoya Krishna Nityadas. Lord Kṛṣna dresses very nicely. Then he performs charity. And 13,084 cows in the groups of these 13,084s. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that Lord is performing this, charity. So he's giving out about 14 lakhs of these cows. And the cows are the best of cows. They are in their youth and they have just had one calf. So when a cow gives birth to a calf, at that time, because of her affection, she gives a lot of milk. And these cows have been covered with nice silken clothes, very nice. Their horns are covered with gold plated, and they are wearing pearl necklaces, and their hoofs are covered with silver plates. And so nicely they have been given to the qualified brahmanas. Yesterday we were talking about fire sacrifice in Treta Yuga were performed because the brahmanas were very qualified and they could just with Arni mantras invoke fire. But Lord Kṛṣna, when he appeared, there was these kind of brahmanas existing in Dwapara Yuga, so they could just with earning mantras, they would invoke fire. So these brahmanas and sages, they would get charity from Lord Krishna. In addition to that, they were given nice clothes, silken clothes, and sesame seeds. Sesame is very auspicious. When you're giving charity, give sesame seeds as much as possible. So that is also very auspicious to give in charity. So Lord Krishna would perform charity for these brahmanas. Now, sometimes it is very interesting that we talk about that Lord Krishna is performing all these activities, even though he doesn't have to perform any of his activities because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet we have to understand that he is unlimited and we cannot ever imitate him. So the Prakrit Sahajiyas, they are also getting warned by Srila Prabhupada in his writings in Krishna book and SrimadBhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that you may try to imitate Lord Krishna, but you can never be able to reach anywhere close. Why? We as living entities, I am here and you are there. But Lord Krishna is everywhere. I know my business, you know your business. But Lord Krishna knows everyone's business. So that he's all potent. So even though one may meditate like Lord Krishna, but how many places is he meditating? In Dwarka it is said 16,108 queens. And Lord Krishna is present by his internal potency, by his yoga maya, his chitta potency, he is expanding so that he is present in each palace. Though he is one, he is present in each palace. And he is performing all these meditations and he is carrying out all these activities. Nobody can perform, no human can perform these simultaneously 16,108. So we should understand what is our position. And even then, the one who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Lord of all Lords, he is the Parameshwar of all Ishwaras. He is the Param Devata, he is the worshipable deity of all Devatas, all demigods. He is the Lord of all Lords, yet at the same time, to exemplify for us, for our benefit, he is showing us how to live as a common man. He is living. And then, after taking bath and all, he chants on his Gayatri mantra. And that's another place people get confused, because Gayatri mantra, in current age, people think that only Brahmanas chant. Actually, of the 4 varnas, 3 varnas are, Dvijas. So again, they are twice born considered. Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Shudras don't go through the samskara process, so they don't get the Janevu. So even Kshatriyas would wear Janevu, Vaishyas would wear Janevu, and all of them would do Gayatri mantras during the 3 times of the day, morning, afternoon and evening. So Lord Krishna is showing us that as a Kshatriya, he is chanting on Gayatri mantra. Then he is doing prayers to Sun God, doing tarpan to the demigods, wishing very nicely to his family members and even to his servants, treating them with a smile, with a happy face. He is, making them come to life. So many times we realize that, just with a smile, when you smile, it multiplies. It makes the other person smile automatically because it is contagious. So COVID-19 is not as contagious as Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is spreading smile all around the world. It is making our heart filled with love, filled with so much, wonderful feelings of Godhead, with so much gratitude we feel. We understand that Lord is so merciful that he is showing us what to do. When we were new in Krishna consciousness, about 2 decades back, we were constantly thinking, we're talking about all these pastimes, but how should we live? What are the different activities at different time of the day we should perform? And then one day we stumbled upon this particular chapter 70, because actually 69 chapter completely bewildered us, because we could not understand what is an activity that one should perform in 69. And this is where Devashi Narad, he went to 16,108 palaces and he saw that Lord Krishna was performing different activities at different times of the day. So again, based on the time of the day, Lord was performing activity, but nobody could ascertain what were the complete set of activities he was performing throughout the day. This chapter brings that to light, that he's appearing as a Kshatriya, right? Not as a king, because King Ugrasen is the king of all kings. There are many kings, like Satyajit was also referred to as king. So he's king of all kings, King Ugrasen, and Lord Kṛṣṇa is as his grandson, right? So indirectly, because Ugrasen is brother of Ugrasen. So he is, as grandson, is also a Kshatriya, important Kshatriya. He's just taking a throne which is below Ugrasen's throne. So again, he is showing us how to behave. Everybody wants to be the Lord, but Lord wants to be the servant of his servant. Can you imagine? He's ready to serve Arjun just at a moment, without even thinking. That's why he's called Achyuta. He stays Supreme Personality of Godhead, irrespective of the position. Even when Devashi Narad in the previous chapter was bewildered and he was laughing as how wonderful Lord is, that he's present in 16,108 palaces simultaneously performing different activities. And even the time in different palaces is different. And at that time, Lord reciprocated to him in a happy mood, in a very jubilant way. Lord reveals to him that actually I wanted to show this to you, and don't think that there is any offense when I'm worshipping you, when I'm touching my helmet to your feet. Because that's what Lord did. In every palace, when Devashi Narad went, Lord Kṛṣṇa showed the behavior of a householder as how to greet a sage by getting up immediately, washing, giving the sage a nice place to sit, washing their feet and worshipping the sage. That is the mood Lord is showing. He said that was just like a son in the lap of his father. So even though the son's feet may touch father's head, it does not change the position. The father still stays the father, even though son's feet may have touched. So many times we have seen when we are playing with the kids, they kick us and so forth. And we feel joy in that as fathers, right? My sons, I would keep them on my shoulder. That doesn't mean that they have become father and I have become their son. No, it is a loving exchange. So Lord is showing his loving exchange with his devotees. That's how we have to understand. He is so merciful, and he is so, he's Achyuta. That's why, because he's showing us, he's coming down to the level to exemplify for us. Because he tells this to Arjun, Yat yat acharati sheshtas tat tad evetaro jana. This is yet another verse. So this is yet another formula where Lord is exemplifying. We call it yet another formula, where he's saying that when a great man follows. This actually reminds me of a very wonderful incident. Once there was this astrologer by the name Werner von Braun. And there was a big article in newspaper that came out when Srila Prabhupada and his disciples brought it to Srila Prabhupada, where he was saying that going to the space outside, as astronaut, he was an astronaut. The purpose is not to show your supremacy or be in a race, but to really see the splendor of God, to really search out who is God and see his splendor. So Srila Prabhupada said, very nice, we should preach to him. So he was very eager to preach to this astronaut. And then the disciples, they jumped from the seat. They said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, if he becomes a devotee, then everyone will become a devotee. Because he's a very prominent figure. He's a very famous person. Srila Prabhupada then discarded it. It's not that he's famous I'm interested in him. It is not that he's a prominent figure I'm interested in. I'm interested in preaching him because he has come to the right conclusion. He understands that there is God. There is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that conclusion is what is encouraging me to preach to him. So devotees, we want to preach to people who are willing to take. There are many people who completely deny the name of God. They say there is no God, this is a godless society, and the purpose of life is to eat, sleep and be merry. And then they completely feel tormented throughout their life. They always have this void in their heart because that place they don't understand. They have turned their back to God, right? And so all they see is darkness. Kṛṣṇa Surya Sama Maya He Andhakara Jaha Kṛṣṇa Taha Nahi Maya Adhikara. So Lord Kṛṣṇa is like the sun. And when we turn our back to sun, what do we see? We see our shadow. And that shadow is our conditioned body, this material body. And we think that, this is all in all. And that's how we relate to every action that we are doing, but actually it's not us acting, it's the shade acting. We haven't even seen ourselves. Or to be able to see ourselves, we have to turn towards sun so that we'll be in light. Srila Prabhupada says in this chapter that our senses are so dull that we can't even see without light, without fire, without sun, without moonlight. So we need an external impetus to be able to perform our activities. Well, Lord Krishna, He is omnipotent, and any of His senses can perform the activities of all our senses. So we have our hands and we have our legs, but our hands cannot do the function of our legs, and our legs cannot do the function of our hands. Similarly, our eyes can see, but they cannot hear, and our ears can hear, but they cannot see. But Lord Krishna, He can do all the activities with any of His senses. So in Brahma Samhita, this prayer Lord Brahma is singing, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti Pashyanti pandi kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmay sadujvala vigrahasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. And the essence of this verse is that, Lord, You can perform all activities of all other senses through any of Your senses. And so to Lord Govinda I pay obeisances. So he's meditating, Lord Brahma is meditating in this prayer, and he's glorifying Lord Krishna, who can perform action of any of his senses through other senses. So these differences that are there, the technical differences, they are called Swajatiya and Vijatiya. So again, Swa is self, Jatiya is like the nature, right? It's not the Jativat, not the caste system. But this is the differences between Lordship and us, Swajatiya and Vijatiya. So Lord Krishna, even though He explains as different Vishnu Tattvas as Somshas, so they're all Vishnu Tattvas, they're not different from Lord Krishna. And then we are Vibhinnamsha, living entities. He explains and he gives, we living entities who appear are actually His Vibhinnamsha. So all Vishnu Tattvas, they are transcendental to the three modes of material nature. But Jivatmas, Jiva Tattvas, we can be conditioned, we can be in the influence of material nature. Yet we have the choice. This is interesting. We have the choice to decide whose shelter we want to take. If we engage in devotional service, we become transcendental to the three modes of material nature, and we take shelter of Lord's Yoga Maya. Mahatmanastu mam pata devim prakati mashraya. So Mahatmas, the devotees of Lord, are constantly under the shelter of His Devi Prakriti, which is His Yogamaya potency, His internal potency. While Ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate prakate kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. If we think that we are this body and we engage in mundane activities without really putting Krishna in the center, but trying to seek sense gratification, hoping to get fruits so that we can enjoy, then we are, having the false identity. So we are identifying with the body, and our ego becomes false ego. And our intelligence is bewildered, and our mind is running in the direction the senses are driving us, like horses, taking away the rein, pulling on the reins, which is the mind. And ahankara vimudhatma, vimudha means foolish living entity. Kartahamiti manyate, and thinks that I am the doer of all things. So that is the state. So we decide whose shelter are we taking. Are we taking shelter of Mahamaya, or are we taking external potency of Lord, or are we taking shelter of Yogamaya, the internal potency of Lord Shri Krishna, of Sheshi Radharani and her expansions. So here, Lord Krishna, after giving charity to the Brahmanas, and He is now gifting things to various offerings have been brought to Lord Krishna. And He's giving it to others, like supari, what do we call it in? So again, various kind of offerings are being made to Lord Krishna, and He's distributing it to His friends. First He's giving out to His friends, then to His ministers, then to His wives, and relatives. And whatever is the remaining, that's what he is accepting himself. So he's telling us that when we get something, we should remember that there is a share that is part of the charity. Should be given to the temple, to the devotees of Lord. If part of the share should be given out to the family members. And whatever is remaining, we should also consider it to divide it into half. One half, the first half should be for emergency times, and second half should be for our direct consumption. So that is the mindset of a grahastha. So he's showing us a grahastha. And we already talked about even as a Kshatriya, he is Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Brahmanas. All three were Dvij, twice borns. And they would chant Gayatri mantras based on their different varnas. So Lord Kṛṣna, as he is performing these wonderful pastimes, these pastimes are being performed. What has happened in this time? His charioteer will bring his chariot with all the 4 horses. Sabhya, Sugriva, Mahapushpa and Balahaka. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives a reference from Padma Puran describing the horses of Lord Krishna's chariot. Shabhya was green color, just like a parrot green color. And Sugriva was golden yellow. Sometimes it is said golden yellow, but a little greyish shade. So that was Sugriva's color. The third horse is Mahapushpa. Megh Pushpa, sorry. Megh is cloud. So it has that greyish complexion like of a cloud. So that's the shade of Megh Pushpa, color of a cloud. And Balahaka is whitish, yet it is light grey, just like the color of an ash. So ash is light grey color. So that's how Balahaka shade is. And who's the charioteer of Lord Kṛṣna? Do you remember? No, Garun is, Daruk is the charioteer of Lord Kṛṣna. Garun is on the Pataka of Lord Kṛṣna. Yes, Daruk. Thank you. So, Garun is also the carrier of Lord Kṛṣna. So again, and in the Pataka of Lord Kṛṣna's chariot, the flag has the mark of Garun. Sometimes people say Arun. Arun happens to be the brother, the elder brother of Garun, who is the charioteer of Lord Vivaswan? Arun, who is the elder brother of Garun, actually twin brother, but he was born earlier because his mother could not wait. So Lord gets on. So this is very interesting. As Lord Kṛṣna is ready to get on with holding the hand of his charioteer Daruk. So this is one place. In the old times, the charioteer would put their hands where the warrior or Kshatriya would put their feet on their hand to climb on, because the first step of the chariot was much higher. So to be able to get to that step, they had to put their hand. But Lord Kṛṣna, he doesn't have Daruk extending his hand to step on his hand, even though Daruk wants to. Lord Kṛṣna wants to hold his hand. So as he extends his hand, Lord Kṛṣna just holds his hand, and he is easily able to climb onto the step on the chariot and then get onto the chariot. And then Satyaki and Uddhav, they also get onto the chariot. But imagine this scene. How is this happening? 16,108 queens of Lord Kṛṣna, they are looking at him. He is going, they only see one Kṛṣna coming out of their house and going towards the chariot and climbing onto the chariot. And with their smile and with their eyebrows and with their eyes, they are trying to stop Lord Kṛṣna. It is said that Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Kṛṣna, when he is coming out of the house to go to the assembly hall or to go out with his associates, his wives, they did not want him to leave. So they were making it very difficult, but Lord Kṛṣna very expertly but with great difficulty are able to console them that he will be just back in a very short while. But we understand from Shashtaka that every moment for these wives of Lord Kṛṣna was like 12 years or more in separation. So here they are seeing that only one Kṛṣna is going out, and he is holding the hand of Daruk and getting onto the chariot. While in reality, Devashi Narad knows this, and he reveals to us in the previous chapter that there are 16,108 of them are going out. And then it appears like one Kṛṣna is on the chariot. And then Satyaki, Yuyudhan, he gets onto the chariot. Uddhava, he gets onto the chariot. And Lord Kṛṣna is going, on his chariot, going through the various streets in the city, the intersections and so many places. And Lord Kṛṣna is greeting all the residents of Dwarka with a smile, where the Brahmanas are actually singing prayers to him as they are seeing him go. And all the residents, they come out of their houses seeing. And Lord Kṛṣna, all the ladies would come out on the terraces. And so they would see Lord Kṛṣna, and Lord Kṛṣna would be seeing with a smile. He would agitate their hearts and they would feel this separation. And Lord Kṛṣna is spreading bliss. So we should at least vow on today's day that everyone we see, we will treat them with a smile. We'll treat them with a Hare Krishna. We'll treat them with this nice jubilation. And if they're devotees, they're very dear to our heart, we'll embrace them. So this is how we're reciprocating the mood of Lord Kṛṣna, who is really making us feel so glad with his pastime. When we hear his pastime, we feel blessed. We feel these ecstatic feelings again. And it is, so wonderful. But on this special day when Lord Kṛṣna goes, he goes to which place? In the assembly hall. This is Sudharma assembly hall. And Srila Prabhupada explains that in Sudharma assembly hall, the 6 kinds of disturbances are not there. What are these 6 kinds of disturbances? One does not feel the pangs of hunger. It's the first one. On the day of Ekadasi, everyone is feeling hungry, right? Fasting. But that's what he's referring. Like, in Sudharma assembly hall, nobody feels any pang of hunger or thirst. Nobody is lamenting, right? So there is no anxiety. Nobody is feeling disease. Nobody is feeling the old age or death. So again, those are the things. No lamentation is there. No illusion is there. One does not feel deluded. So everyone is able to see things as they are. Spiritually they are able to envision everything. So in this Sudharma hall, Lord Kṛṣna comes, pays obeisances to King Ugrasen and gets onto his throne, right beside Ugrasen. So there are various thrones being arranged in the assembly hall. Lord Kṛṣna just goes to his throne, sits. On this special day where this chapter is being described, there is a personality who is asking for audience, who has never been seen before. So King Ugrasen and Lord Kṛṣna, they permit their servant to just bring this messenger, this person, to the assembly hall. But before this person is brought to assembly, wonderful things are happening. So in the beginning, people just, let's start working. But devotees, when we go to work, we actually take a moment to meditate on Lord Kṛṣna's pastime. We take some time to sing some of his glory. Sometimes we just pick up a poem from one of the acharyas, and we sing that story. Jaya Kṛṣna, Jaya Vrindavan, and so forth. So we continue to engage in wonderful. Jaya Radhe Jaya Kṛṣna, Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan, Kishi Ghat Vanshi Vata Dwadasha Kanan. So we get engaged, we get lost. I've been signaled to stop, but we get lost. We get lost, and this is very enlivening because it recharges us. All the travel that we have done from home to work, COVID-19 we are not traveling, but otherwise, if we are traveling and we get the tiredness because of this long travel, just like Lord Kṛṣna is with Satyaki and Uddhava, and they're traveling to the assembly hall. So there are various dancers, jesters, they are coming and they are showing various kinds of activities. When the dancers are dancing, at that time they are accompanied by musical instruments. You know, Mridanga is playing, Kartal is playing, even the conch is blowing, everything is so melodious, so nicely musical accompaniment is going on. Everyone is feeling blissful because they have the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna himself. And all these jesters, they are making different kind of jokes, making everyone laugh and smile, fully charging everyone in the company. And then there are Brahmanas, they are coming in. And they are singing Vedic hymns, glorifying Lord Shri Krishna, also singing glories of the previous kings. And this is another thing. There were Brahmanas who would become very old, who cannot perform various sacrifices and so forth. They would do the glorification of the king, the Kshatriya kings in those times. So, this was one of the service they would take to, by making the king remember of the glorious activities they had performed so that they don't get distracted by their senses. And they continue to perform great, glorious activities, moving on, and not be bewildered by the material energy. So similarly, all these Brahmanas, they are singing glories. And we already heard, like when Lord Krishna would get up hearing the crows of rooster, it is described that the parijat flowers, the breeze would bring the fragrance of these parijat flowers. So the parijat tree that we heard Lord Krishna got from Indralok, so he had planted in Satyabhama's gardens, but with the seeds from those flowers, the parijat trees had been grown in all the palaces of Lord Krishna's queens and many more places. So it was spread throughout. And the breeze would bring it to Lord Krishna in every palace. And this fragrance would cause the humming of the bees, right? The bees would hum, causing the birds to wake up. And the chirping of birds would start. So the humming of bees and the chirping of birds would sound so melodious, as if the Brahmanas, the singers are glorifying Lord Shri Krishna's wonderful pastimes. So here in the assembly hall, the jesters are making jokes and they are, showing various pastimes. The Brahmanas, they are singing glories. Everyone is similarly fully charged. And so charged everyone is so spiritually that they can continue to do our activities. So that's how when we go to work, we take a moment to remember Lord Krishna, sing some of his glories. We feel fully enlivened, fully charged, and we become happy. So when we become happy, everyone around us becomes happy. And then we interact with this mood of servitude, that we want to serve Lord Krishna through our various activities. So there is no possibility of any envy, any arrogance, any pride to creep in. So our heart is just in that right state, the perfect fertile soil in which our bhakti lata can continue to grow. And when we perform activities, so on this special day, it just so happens in Sudharma hall, a messenger is coming. So King Kṛṣṇa and Lord Krishna, they ask to bring him in. And so the servants, they bring this messenger. So this messenger, he's saying that I am representing these 20,000 kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha, the king of Magad. And these were the kings who, so he's saying the message on their behalf. And the message is very nicely elaborated. So Shukdev Goswami is telling this message, again making us come back to life. That how as living entities we were once conditioned, and sometimes we do get conditioned under the modes of material nature. So when we are influenced, we fall back into those ways. And these kings are praying for the shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. So now this is very interesting. King Ugrasen is sitting there, but the messenger has a message directly for Lord Shri Krishna. So this is how, everybody knew that Lord Shri Krishna, especially in Sudharma Assembly Hall, that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because one of the things, that negative aspect will go away when you are present in the Assembly Hall is delusion. You will not be deluded. So everyone would have the right vision that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this messenger is giving this message, Hare Krishna, that, oh Lord Shri Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are so surrendered unto you. Yet, however, because of our fallen state, because of our being conditioned, we have fallen this material energy, under the grasp of this material energy. And we are constantly being tormented by this material energy. Padam padam yada vipadam natesham. There is danger at every step when we are, under the grasp of this material energy. And it's very easy to come out of the grasp of this material energy. Just take shelter of Lord Kṛṣṇa, just like this messenger is revealing on behalf of those 20,000 kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha. And now, he is continuing, but we would like to take shelter. We understand that you have had 18 battles with Jarasandha. 17 of them you fought and you won. But in 18th one, you acted like a common man. So even that is being revealed, that Lord Kṛṣṇa acted like a common man. And he is glorified as Ranchor. He ran away from the battlefield. And he is worshipped in many temples in India, in Gujarat and Rajasthan, especially as Ranchorji, where he ran from the battlefield. But we devotees understand why did he run away from the battlefield? Because before starting from Magad, Jarasandha had called all these Brahman astrologers and said, if I do not win this time, I will come and kill each one of you. So Lord Kṛṣṇa knew that if he defeats Jarasandha on this 18th time, he has brought his 18 Akshahini armies to fight with Lord Kṛṣṇa and Lord Balaram. If he defeats Jarasandha, he will go and kill all those Brahmanas. But that is not something he would allow. Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanaya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Brahmanaya Devaya. He is the Lord of all the Brahmanas. Again, it can be twisted the other way as well, but we stay with this particular translation. And he is the benefactor, well-wisher of all the Brahmanas and the cows. So he did not want even one Brahman to be affected by this attitude of Jarasandha. So he accepted defeat on behalf of his devotees, the Brahmanas. So when Jarasandha thought that he has won, he went back. He gave a lot of charity to all these Brahmanas, that because of your blessings, you astrologers, you Brahmanas, and astrology is actually a science. So when we take it as a science, it is very effective. But with an astrologer who is apt, who is skilled in that science, right? And if there is an astrologer who is delusion, then of course it becomes not so much of a science but a speculation. Just like Bhagavad Gita, many of the commentators write so many different things, but Srila Prabhupada presents Bhagavad Gita as it is to us, right? He presented Bhagavad Gita as Lord Kṛṣṇa wanted the message to be passed on to us, the living entities. Many commentators, they put their own purposes and their own, understanding, and they twist the message, so it becomes more of a speculative commentary to satisfy the purposes that these commentators are looking for. While we should be looking in disciplic succession and accepting the message with its essence, so that we can come with the right mood of servitude, with that right attitude to serve Lord Kṛṣṇa. So here, this messenger is glorifying Lord Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he showed you a human-like behavior. Yet at the same time, we take shelter because we know that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now we also understand that because of our pious activities, we attained so many kingdoms and we were acting as kings and administrators and carrying out the ruling. And because of our impious activities, sinful activities in our life, on past life, earlier, we are now under the, under the grasp. We are being imprisoned by Jarasandha. And we are suffering. We are suffering in this state. That is also a reaction of our impious activity. So that is the mood of a devotee. A devotee understands that everything that we are getting is getting by the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa, and does not get attached or feel hatred towards it. It's just taking everything as is coming from Lord Kṛṣṇa. Yet at the same time, there is a big difference in the case of a person who is conditioned versus in the case of a devotee. So in case a devotee understands, of my hand being cut off, I have just received a scratch when it comes to punishment. But in case of a devotee versus a person who's conditioned, the biggest difference that comes is when there is a rock on the path of a devotee versus a path of a person who's conditioned. A conditioned person thinks of that as a roadblock, that as an impediment, while a devotee thinks of that rock as a stepping stone for us to improve ourselves, to overcome that state. And when we are bewildered, we simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. That's why a devotee does not feel fear. When Srila Prabhupada was chanting, somebody asked him, what do you feel? He says, I do not feel any fear. I feel fearlessness. So when we are feeling any fear, we should immediately take to the chanting of the holy name. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And in that mood, we should continue to engage in our devotional service. So here this messenger is singing the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. He is saying, we are these 20,000 kings who are being imprisoned by Jarasandha, the king of Magad. They are in your shelter. Please, free us. So on their behalf, this messenger is passing on this message. And everyone, all the associates of Lord Krishna, all the assembly members, they are all now contemplating how to attack Jarasandha, how to attack Magad kingdom. So as to free these 20,000 kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha. And just at that time, a great personality, shining like a sun, he enters on his veena singing, Narayan, Narayan. Who is he? He's got golden hair matlocked. He's got golden complexion glowing like sun. And he's entering the assembly hall, Sudharma hall. And as soon as he comes in, Lord Krishna gets up, offers him a very nice seat, and then glorifies him. Who is this personality? Write if you know it in the comment. Who is this personality? Who's got this golden complexion, who's got blonde hair, matted lock hair, who's playing on his veena and singing Narayan, Narayan. And he can easily travel to any of the upper planetary systems, lower planetary systems, and on earth, anywhere he feels like, just by his will. He has a spiritual body. This is none other than sage Narad. So he has come in, and Lord Krishna, after giving him a proper seat, is glorifying him. Oh Devashi Narad, every time we see you, we feel so gladdened. We feel happy. So that's the mood. When a devotee comes of Lord Krishna, a devotee is there, then seeing the devotee, everyone else becomes happy. That is the mood how the 6 Goswamis, when they were living in Vrindavan, people who were rogues were people who were nice people. All kind of people respected them. Because as devotee of Lord Krishna, they were always looking at the benefit of humanity, acting as a well-wisher of everyone. So everyone looks at a devotee of Lord Krishna. Only in deluded state somebody can think inimically. But in reality, the nature of a person is if you smile at them, they smile back. It is only a crooked person sometimes, or maybe a lost person. Sometimes they're completely lost in their own thought that they may not reciprocate. But we should continue to smile and engage in devotional service with that happy mood. So here, Lord Krishna is glorifying Devashi Narad, that you can easily wander all around this universe, and when you come, then we can inquire about all the welfare of all the personalities in this universe. So he is not just a devotee wandering, but also as a messenger. So this is being identified. In Padma Purana, very nice reference is given where Devashi Narad takes it as a hint that he is going to be a messenger for Lord Shri Krishna. Every time there is something that Lord Krishna needs to know, he better make sure. So that's how the marriage of Samba happened, because Devashi Narad immediately brought the news to Lord Krishna that Samba has been, caught and imprisoned by Banasur, because Usha and Samba were seen together in the bedroom of Usha. So that's where that happened, and so many other times. So here, Lord Krishna is saying that, please tell us what the Pandavas are up to. So now Devashi Narad smiles. Lord already knows what he's going to tell him. But at the same time, he's glorifying Devashi Narad that please tell us that what are they doing, how are they faring, and what are the next set of activities they are planning. And that time, Devashi Narad smiles. And he says that, oh, Lord Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know everything. Yet, for the benefit of others, you are acting in this manner and you are inquiring about it. Now everyone, all the associates in the assembly hall, everyone is thinking how to attack Magad. And Devashi Narad has come in. The messenger is just standing there, waiting to see responses, what needs to be done. And here Devashi Narad is responding back that actually Yudhishthira Maharaj, he has all the opulences of Brahmalok, not Indralok, Brahmalok. He has all the things that he needs. He doesn't need anything else. Yet, he wants to perform Rajasuya sacrifice so that he gets to worship you. He gets to have your association. So it is very interestingly identified that one can be fully satisfied with whatever one has. Yet at the same time, one would want to seek the shelter of Lord Shri Kṛṣna and his devotees. Wants to glorify and serve the devotees of Lord Shri Kṛṣna. So that's the mood of Pandavas being exemplified here. So Devashi Narad is explaining that he has everything that is required. This reminds me of a very nice incident. Once there was this king, and he comes to know that a great sage has come in his kingdom and is living in a very small forest with his disciples. So the king goes to visit this sage, and when he enters the ashram, he sees everything is very scantily distributed, not very opulently. The barn has been set up very weak, just with sticks together, just enough to hold the animals and so forth. And the sage is sitting under a tamarind tree, and he is giving discourses to his disciples who seem to be only wearing one cloth. All the boys were sitting with just one cloth on their body, and even the sage looks very weak and thin and aged with one cloth, and the king pays Dandvat Pranam. So the behavior doesn't change. So when we see a devotee of Lord, we should pay full obeisances, Dandvats. Dandvats like Dandvat, like a stick, like a rod. We should fall down flat on the ground and pay obeisances by touching our forehead to the ground. So, and then the king says, "Oh, my dear Rishi, my dear sage, you live in such a condition. So maybe I should, provide you nice facilities. Please order me. How can I serve you?" Just exemplifying what Lord Krishna did in the last chapter by asking a sage, how can we serve him? So the king is doing this. King is exemplifying. The sage says, "No, I have everything that I desire." And then he is explaining to the king that I have my disciples, so they take care of things, and then they go out to collect alms, Bhikshan Dehi, that's the normal call. And they get, various kind of foodstuffs. And then when they get stuff, my wife, she cooks, she uses some tamarind for the rice. Today is no grain day. So, but basically the sage reveals that they use tamarind from the tree, and whatever they get, they distribute it nicely, and they're living very happily. For the sage, he was fully self-sufficient, didn't need anything. But for the king, he looked like a very poor, poverty-stricken sage, and somehow surviving. So it is our mindset. We have to somehow reduce our needs so that all our needs are met, and remove our wants, because these wants are coming because of the lust, greed. Sometimes we are looking. We should look at the need, what is needed to sustain this life and soul in our body, and continue to engage in devotional service. If there is extra energy, extra things that we want to endeavor, then we should engage in devotional service. Utsahan nishchayat dhairya tat karma pravartanat sanga tyaga satovritte sadbir bhakti prasiddhati. So Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, Updeshamrita, he is revealing the secret, the 6 principles of improving our devotional service. What are those 6 principles? Utsahan. So when we engage in devotional service, we should engage with great enthusiasm. Utsahan means enthusiasm. Nishchayat, with great determination. We should be well determined that we have to do this. We should do this for the pleasure of our Lordship, because when He is happy, we are happy, and everyone is happy. Dhairya. Yet we should be patient, because time I am reward of all things, Lord Krishna says, and time runs on its own cycle. So we should be patiently continue to engage in our devotional service without getting bewildered or becoming impatient. Tat tat karma pravartanat, engaging in the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedam. We are hearing, chanting, remembering, doing the worship of Lordship, singing prayers, serving His lotus feet, being a servant of Lord Krishna, being His friend and surrendering everything in His service. The 9 processes of devotional service that Prahlad Maharaj reveals to his father Hiranyakashipu, that these are the 9 processes of devotional service one should engage in. And the Shravanam is the most potent of them, by hearing the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. That's what we are doing right now. And so, here, Devashi Narad, he is glorifying Lord Krishna. And then he is saying that Yudhishthira Maharaj, he has all the opulences, sir. Because again, the assembly hall of Yudhishthira Maharaj, that was built by Maya Danav, and the palace too. So this was an assembly hall which had all the scientific, arrangements, and the whole city of Indraprastha was built by who? Vishwakarma, Twashta. So he had built Vishwakarma had built all the, township and all the city and everything was done by him. So in such an opulent place, Yudhishthira Maharaj lives. Somebody could say, why does he want to do Rajasuya sacrifice? That will be revealed in the next chapter onwards. Yes. So those are coming attractions. Don't miss out the next chapter. As how someone who has all the opulences of Brahmaloka, not Indraloka, Brahmaloka, still wants to perform a Rajasuya sacrifice. And at that time, there are 2 messengers, right? Devashi Narada is acting as a messenger from Pandav, who is saying that Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to perform Rajasuya sacrifice, and the messengers from the 20,000 kings who have been imprisoned by Jarasandha, who is asking for Lord Krishna to attack, on Magad and defeat Jarasandha and free the 20,000 kings. And all the associates are actually thinking of going with this messenger. They were contemplating as how to attack Magad and free all these 20,000 kings that have been imprisoned by Jarasandha. In this particular state, Lord Krishna, understanding everyone's mood, looks at his cousin, his confidential devotee. Who is this personality? Who looks like Krishna, who wears the clothes discarded by Krishna. So even the clothes that are given out by Krishna, he gives it to him. So he looks like Krishna, he wears clothes like Krishna, so he even has a peacock feather in his mukut. And sometimes he is mistaken for Krishna. This is none other than Uddhav. So he looks at Uddhav. Lord Krishna is looking at Uddhav and saying, my dear Uddhav, you are my confidential friend and advisor. So why don't you tell us, understanding the 2 situations. So even though these 2 situations appear like conflict, how should we act? So this is another lesson we get as devotees, that there may be multiple endeavors we may be looking as a community. But in reality, when we put Shri Radha Krishna, the divine couple, in the center, then all these activities should be dovetailed in serving them nicely. And serving Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada is a preeminent Acharya and the founder Acharya. So, he is the founder as well as a preeminent Shiksha Guru. So, what would satisfy them? That is our focus. And of course, we also have, we are the grand disciples, many of us are. So, we also look at what would satisfy our spiritual master. And none of these aspects are in conflict. They may be coming from different directions, but with one goal, to satisfy Shri Radha Krishna, to satisfy divine couple who are in the center. So we have to orient ourselves. So it is not to get disoriented and start conflict, but rather to orient ourselves to keep one focal point. And then all activities can be nicely dovetailed together, because we have different skills, different abilities, and we can use our different abilities, different resources accordingly to satisfy Shri Radha Madan Mohan. And in that mode, means again, Lord Krishna is showing us by his example that even though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is asking his friend and advisor Uddhav. And Uddhav is feeling blessed to have received this service from Lord Krishna. He knows that what Lord Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what he is. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows everything and he has solutions for everything. But he is giving me this service. So Uddhav is properly acting in a favorable manner. Anukulena Kṛṣṇa Anushilinam. So he is Anukul. As Lord Krishna desires, he is acting in that manner. And so he speaks as follows. And this is on a high note, because now you want to know what Uddhav speaks, right? What is Uddhav's response? And this is what is covered in the next chapter, 10th Canto, chapter 71, which we'll be covering in our next class. So please don't forget to attend that class and understand what is this amazing message that Uddhav is going to share with Lord Krishna, while these two messengers have given conflicting messages, causing everyone to feel split between two different areas. Should we attack Magad or should we engage in Rajasuya sacrifice, which is being proposed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So these are the coming attractions. So please don't forget to join us. And even more amazing is what kind of service Lord Krishna would perform in Rajasuya sacrifice. So he's further exemplifying for us that what are the best services that we can engage in when we are serving other devotees of Lord Krishna. So this is where this chapter ends. And some of the important lessons that we learned is we should try to get up in Brahma Muhurat. When we engage in devotional service, we don't feel the pangs of hunger or thirst. When we are constantly engaging in chanting, the meditation, the best meditation is chanting of the holy name. And we should not try to imitate, rather we should take shelter. Anusharan, not Anukaran. We should take shelter of the instructions of our spiritual master and the previous acharyas and of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Then we hear as how we should still continue to perform our daily activities, prescribed duties, dovetailing them towards satisfying Lord Shri Krishna. And how we should always stay happy, how we should always stay smiling and completely peaceful at heart, chanting the glories of Lord Shri Krishna. So anytime we want to start an important work, we should take 2 minutes out to just sing the glories, because that is spiritually charging us for the coming attraction, the coming event that we are going to be engaged in. And whoever we meet with a smile. We meet with open heart, yet at the same time at corresponding, respecting at corresponding levels. So with younger generations, we meet with compassion. With similar generation who are at our level, we meet with friendliness. And people who are advanced, we pay them obeisances and we submissively serve them and inquire from them. In that mode we interact in devotee association. And the 6 kind of loving exchanges we engage in to constantly enliven, to constantly keep rejuvenating our relationship with our devotees. And then Lord Krishna is showing that how we should, engage others with the mood of serving Lord Krishna and engage ourselves with the mood of. And various initiatives may come to our mind, various activities may come to our mind, but we should look at it based on the time, place and circumstances to see which ones and how can we satisfy Shri Radha Madan Mohan, who are the divine couple who are in the center, and we are looking for their their satisfaction, not our sense gratification. So by doing this, we can be at complete peace and in the shelter of their lotus feet, which are like the perfect boat. And today, on the day of Yogini Ekadashi in the Western countries, and tomorrow it will be Yogini Ekadashi in India and so forth. So on Ekadashi, when we are fasting to really make rapid advancement, fast, right? Rapid advancement in spiritual progress by chanting the holy name, paying attention, attentively listening to every mantra that we chant on the beads. And on special days like this, we chant minimum of 25 rounds. And it is very simple. When we open our heart with love, calling out for the mercy of Lordship to invoke on us, we are chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So please don't miss out the coming attractions. And now join us for SrimadBhagavatam. Canto SrimadBhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Hare Kṛṣṇa. श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।